Well, this week on Jonathan Green's Corner, I want to introduce you to an old friend of mine and one of the busiest men in motorsport, 2003 world champion from World Superbikes, Neil Hodgson. Welcome to Jerez, but you are a busy man. I mean, you've been working on MotoGP, you're here at World Superbike. What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm addicted to coming to the races, as you can see. I go to every MotoGP. I work with BT Sports, doing a similar job to you. Not as good as you, but I'm learning. I'm learning the trade, but I enjoy it, really enjoy it. And then I had a weekend off, and I work with Alex Lowe's. I manage Alex Lowe's, so I've not had a chance to come to any of the World Superbikes this year, which I'm embarrassed to admit, but decided to come and see what it's all about, and I'm loving it, as you can imagine.
Now, it's interesting that you've chosen to help manage Alex Lowe's, because he is, without doubt, I mean, the next, I hope, James Tozer, the next Neil Hodgson, the next Carl Fogarty. Do you see it that way? I mean, has he got that talent? Yeah,
100%. Obviously, the fact that I manage him, I feel like it's hard now, because whatever I say, you're going to say, well, you're going to say that, you know. But when I first met Alex, probably 4 years ago now, I didn't know that much about him, and then I obviously started to follow him, and I've been approached off so many people to help, and if I don't believe in the person, how can I sell that person? And once I saw Alex's full potential last year when he won the British Superbike Championship, it was a done deal. You know what I mean? The lad's got so much talent. He's so much more talent than I ever had. I'm sort of jealous of his ability, and he's still a little bit raw, and he still needs to sort some areas of his riding out and his attitude a little bit. But once he does, you'll see in years to come. Hopefully you'll watch this interview back and people will go, I'll tell you what, Neil Hodgson was right. I see a bit of Troy Bayliss in him. Yeah. I see that sort of, he's so determined, he's going to win. You know, it's that attitude. So, like I say, he's learning, but he will get there. How
important is it to have somebody like that, a mentor, in your corner? I mean, through your career, you had a few different guys who'd been through and raced, Roger Burnett being one, and several others. But how important is that to a young guy coming up, to have that confidence that somebody's in your corner? I mean, I noticed after the practice here in Jerez this week, you've got Glenn Richards, who's kind of there, a constant mentor for him, and then you were there just sort of saying, hey, mate, how you doing? Yeah. How important is that?
Really, really important. Like you mentioned Roger Burnett. Well, Roger managed me through the majority of my career. He managed James Tozeland as well. And the commercial side is the commercial side, and it's really important, obviously, and Roger was fantastic on that. But it wasn't just that. It was my man in the paddock. It was my eyes on the track. And it's funny, because I've worked with Alex now for 2 years, and I've seen some things this weekend that I've really been able to help him with. And it's more how he talks to the team, how he gets the most out of his debriefs, and that's 20 years of racing at World Championship level, pretty much. That experience, that's what I've learned, what to do and what not to do, basically, and that's what I'm trying to pass on to him.
Right, it's great to have somebody like you in Alex's corner, and I think he's in good position. And I said he's an old friend of mine. Well, I remember the GSE days in the British Championship. I remember him as a wild card. I remember him as a Kawasaki rider. I remember him as a world champion in 2003 when he did it, and he was the daddy at Assen. So I've got a good memory for this. But I find it interesting that you are in the media now, because you let me into a little secret. Working with those riders isn't as easy as it looks, is it?
Hey, Jonathan, honestly, I've so much more respect for you now. Now I'm doing what you're doing. It is hard. It's hard. It's really, you know, in the MotoGP paddock, you know, we're the British TV, but there's German TV, there's Dutch TV, there's Australian, American.
And they all want a piece.
And they all want a piece. So, and the riders don't want to have a piece of, you know, they don't. It's not as easy as I thought. I genuinely thought, pretty easy, this job. It's like a part-time job. It's not. You know, a typical day for me is probably 14 hours at the track, and you're trying to set up interviews, you're trying to sort out times, and it's certainly challenging, but I'm loving the challenge. I'm learning the trade. It's like any new job you do. It takes a bit of time, and I'm getting a bit more confident, because it's quite nerve-wracking when I'm doing live TV and someone's talking in my ear, the producer, and I'm doing what you're doing, trying to listen to the answer whilst also construct a very good second question. As you know, like you do it now because you've been doing it for how many years, I don't know, but you've been doing it forever. So I'm learning your trade, but...
which aspect are you enjoying? I mean, you do a bit of commentary, do a bit of interviewing, you're on the grid. Which bit do you like?
Do you know what I like? I like the full mixture, I think, because I do a little bit of commentating. I wouldn't want to be commentating all the time. The grid walk I find the most nerve-wracking, but the most exciting, because it's a bit like, it's the race for me. It's 10 minutes live, they say go, and I have to talk for 10 minutes, and it's hard. It's hard to piece it all together and make it look seamless. And it's anything but seamless at the moment, if you've seen some of them. But I'm getting there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, all the aspects. The bit I don't like is trying to interview riders straight after the practice or race when you know they've not had a good session. But it's my job to get their information, their words, and they don't want to talk to me. And I know I'm a pain in the backside to them, but that's my job. So it's hard, I think, because I was a rider, I know how frustrated they are, and they don't want to talk to me, but like I said, that's my job.
Well, listen, I'm going to also grab you and get you to come into commentary with us in World Superbikes. Privileged to see you again. Keep looking after Alex. We need him to be the next world champion. It's great to have you on board. We'll see him in commentary, but that's Jonathan Green's Corner for this week.